Right now on Morning News Now, promises, politics, and pushback from President Trump in an exclusive interview with NBC's Kristen Welker. The president defending some of his most controversial policies, from tariffs to deportations, and being asked about his adherence to the presidential oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution.
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
Don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know.
We have team coverage with the biggest takeaways, including the president's take on America's economy and what he's saying about a potential run for a third term. Breaking overnight, a night turns into tragedy in Arizona. Multiple shooters opened fire at a restaurant during a Cinco de Mayo party, killing at least 3 people, leaving several others wounded. We'll bring you the latest. Also this morning, jury selection set to begin in the federal sex trial of hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs on charges of sex trafficking. We'll break down the charges, plus the star witness whose testimony could bolster the prosecution's case. And papal preparations. In just 2 days, the conclave to elect the next pope will start. We'll take you to the Vatican for what we know about this highly secretive process to find a successor to Pope Francis and how it could shape the future of the Catholic Church.
I'll be watching for that white smoke over the next few days. Good to have you with us on this Monday morning. I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Christine Romans. I'm in for Savannah this morning. We begin this morning with President Trump going on the record to defend his agenda just over 100 days after returning to the White House. In that wide-ranging interview, he spoke exclusively with NBC News Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker on everything from the economy to immigration and his own political future.
The president also stood by his decision to impose tariffs, which have rattled global markets. He downplayed concerns about a possible recession. He also blamed President Biden for current economic worries, even as polling shows most Americans disapprove of his handling of the economy. Mr. Trump was asked about the constitutional right under the Fifth Amendment to due process for all people on American soil, including non-citizens who are facing deportation. He repeatedly deferred questions to his lawyers. Last night, Democratic Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer responded to a clip of the interview, writing, quote, "President Trump has just admitted that he doesn't know whether he needs to uphold the Constitution. This is as un-American as it gets." We get more now from Kristen.
More than 3 months into office, President Trump isn't willing to fully commit to taking ownership over the economy.
When does it become the Trump economy?
It partially is right now, and I really mean this. I think the good parts are the Trump economy, and the bad parts are the Biden economy, because he's done a terrible job. He did a terrible job on everything.
So let's talk about the tariffs. And I want to ask you about something you said this week. Got a lot of attention. You were at your cabinet meeting. You said, quote, I'm going to quote what you said, "Maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30.
Yeah.
And maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally." Are you saying that your tariffs will cause some prices to go up?
No, I think the tariffs are going to be great for us because it's going to make us rich.
But you said some dolls are going to cost more. Isn't that an acknowledgement that some prices will go up?
I don't think a beautiful baby girl that's 11 years old needs to have 30 dolls. I think they can have 3 dolls or 4 dolls. Because what we were doing with China was just unbelievable. We had a trade deficit of hundreds of billions of dollars with China.
When you say they could have $3 instead of $30, are you saying Americans could see empty store shelves?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they don't need to have $30. They can have 3. They don't need to have 250 pencils. They can have 5.
Is it okay in the short term to have a recession?
Look, yeah, everything's okay. What we are, I said, this is a transition period. I think we're going to do fantastically.
The president's first 100 days also marked by his immigration crackdown and mass deportation efforts.
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says
I don't know. It seems it might say that, but if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials. We have thousands of people that are some murderers and some drug dealers and some of the worst people on earth, some of the worst, most dangerous people on earth. And I was elected to get them the hell out of here, and the courts are holding me from doing it.
But even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said. What you said is not what I heard the Supreme Court said. They have a different interpretation.
And our thanks to Kristen Welker for that interview.
All right, for more, let's bring in NBC News White House correspondent Vaughn Hilliard. Vaughn, an excellent job by Kristen with that interview yesterday. And NBC News fact-checked this interview and found that at times the president made some false or misleading claims. An example of that is when he said that the Doge found billions of dollars worth of fraud or waste. Our fact-checkers say it's practically impossible to verify, and Doge's own accounting has been riddled with errors and misleading claims. Not to mention, there is a cost of firing and rehiring workers and putting thousands of people on paid leave. So, Vaughn, I guess what are some of the most significant mischaracterizations that stood out to you, and what about any claims that were found to be accurate?
Right, there was aggressive pushback from the president against Kristen's questioning about the price of goods being increased around the country as a result of his trade war. And he consistently said that prices have gone down, inflation has gone down since he took office 3.5 months ago. And to a certain extent, that is true. The consumer price index has slowed, and we have seen inflation in the last month at just 0.1%. Of course, a striking difference than during the Biden administration, though much of this began in 2024 ahead of Donald Trump's election to the White House. At the same time, we have seen that there is much consternation and that economists are anticipating increase in price of goods because of the trade war and the tariffs that are going to be placed on goods that are coming into the United States, relied on by millions of Americans. And then when it comes to the price of oil, the president was suggesting that the price of a tank of gas is down to just $1.98 around the country. That is not true. It is still the national average over $3. The wholesale oil price is down to about $1.98, but that is not what Americans are paying at the pump.
Vaughn, another issue that's making headlines wasn't in that piece there, but Kristen asked the president about those Trump 2028 hats that his organization is selling. What did he say about whether he does plan to run again? I mean, we know he has hinted at this, but of course, that would violate the 22nd Amendment.
Right. We have seen him flirt with this idea for months now about potentially running in 2028, and that there were hats that were created with Trump 2028 on it, his own son wearing one of them. But when asked by Kristen about whether he intends to run again, despite it being clear in the Constitution that you cannot run for more than 2 terms, he said that he is not planning to do that, and that there are other good people, particularly naming J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, who would be able to continue the MAGA agenda, and that it is something that he does not intend to do, to go and try to amend the Constitution. So those were notable new comments from him after months of flirting with the idea of trying to challenge the constitutional ability to serve more than these 2 terms.
And Vaughn, in true Trump form, he had this news-making interview, and then he made news again last night on Truth Social, posting on social media that he plans to reopen Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary. That's, of course, that historic island prison off San Francisco, which housed some of America's most notorious criminals. It closed in 1963. What do we know about this? Was the president, was he riffing or musing, or is this a real plan?
Well, the Bureau of Prisons, the federal agency, said that they are taking the president's word seriously and that they will look into this. And look, this comes after months of heavy pushback from the judicial branch against the president's use of the Salvador mega prison, where he is sought to send hundreds of Venezuelan nationals. There has been much criticism and scrutiny over his decision to go and send detainees overseas. And so this, for the president, is clearly an idea that of a way to try to ramp up the federal penitentiary system. There's already more than a dozen of these high maximum security type of institutions around the country, we should note. And there are a lot of questions. It's been closed now for nearly 60 years, and that was because of the difficulty in sending resources, supplies, fuel, food over to Alcatraz off of San Francisco.
If he felt a decision they were making was, quote, hurtful. Of course, we saw the call to Jeff Bezos just a few days ago regarding Amazon. What would be the impact of this? What's the message this sent?
We have something in this country called free enterprise, which is why we've had such a prosperous economy over the past couple of centuries, and that's because businesses can pretty much act in the best interest of their shareholders and usually of their customers. Well, this is definitely an interference of that. So if you're getting a call from the president saying, I don't like what you're doing with prices, I don't like what you're doing with certain products, that kind of interrupts that. So Bezos is different. He sat at the inauguration. He donated some money to the president, so did Amazon. But having the president call a CEO, that just doesn't seem very American, but it seems very President Donald Trump.
It's not the typical Republican presidentials, like the
it's not hands-off.
No, it's not.
Very hands-on.
And even yet, Warren Buffett this weekend, the Oracle of Omaha, saying, trade should not be used as a weapon, using kind of his last big Berkshire Hathaway meeting to kind of remind people about the president.
That's right, and he knows the danger of having an administration that's too involved with business right now. Berkshire Hathaway's Warren Buffett stepping down as CEO at the end of the year. He had those important words for the rest of us.
All right, Caleb, nice to see you. All right, now let's get to some breaking news in Arizona overnight. Police say at least 3 people have died, 5 more injured after multiple shooters opened fire at a restaurant in Glendale, that's outside Phoenix. This was about 7:45 p.m. local time. One witness told our Phoenix affiliate that the restaurant was holding a Cinco de Mayo party with people of all ages present at the time of the shooting. There have been no arrests as of this morning. The public information officer from Glendale Police told reporters earlier that the details of the shooting are scarce.
It's a very large scene. We're going to be working well into the night and probably up until the sun comes up. So just expect us to be busy trying to knock this out. It's, kind of an all-hands-on-deck type of situation where we have all investigators from all sorts of units coming out to assist.
Menendez also said there is no ongoing threat to the public, but there will be a heavy police presence throughout the city today.
An investigation is underway following another close call at Reagan National Airport in Washington. It happened Thursday. 2 commercial flights approaching the airport were ordered to do go-arounds or abort their landings. It's because of an Army helicopter, as you can see in this video. Now, no one was hurt in either incident. A U.S. Army spokesperson says the chopper was, quote, conducting flight operations into the Pentagon in accordance with published FAA flight routes and DCA air traffic control. Earlier this year, that airport was the scene of a mid-air collision between a Black Hawk helicopter and American Airlines flight. 67 people were killed. At Newark Airport in New Jersey, travelers continue to be impacted by hundreds of flights that were delayed or canceled over the weekend. The FAA is blaming runway construction, equipment failures, and air traffic controller understaffing.
And if you have travel plans coming up and have not gotten your real ID, you're not alone, but a friendly reminder that new requirements to fly kick in on Wednesday, this Wednesday. Lines are out the door at DMVs and state offices nationwide, with many people now feeling the pressure. NBC News correspondent Adrian Broaddus shows us what to know before that deadline.
Across the country, the countdown is on to get a real ID.
I hope I'm able to get it at least before the deadline.
From New York to North Carolina, scenes like this, people waiting in long lines to get one. They have a Gold Star, California Bear, or say Enhanced in Washington State. And you'll need one if you're planning to fly domestically or visit some federal facilities.
These IDs keep our country safe.
These people are waiting for a real ID in Chicago.
It's the longest I've waited in a line for an ID before.
Alexi Janulius is the Illinois Secretary of State.
What does May 7th mean to you?
Chaos, unnecessary chaos, confusion.
His office has been overwhelmed, so they created the first ever Real ID Super Center to handle Real ID requests.
On average, this Real ID Super Center processes 1,500 applications daily.
I never would imagine that the Real ID Super Center would be this popular. We've had other states reach out to us about how to get it done. They want to do it.
But no matter where you live, there are some things you need to know before you get a Real ID. First, that May 7th deadline, that's not the last day you can get one.
I think there's this misnomer out there that because it's a deadline on May 7th, we're going to stop issuing them. That is not the case.
Starting May 7th, you will need a Real ID if you're planning to fly. But even then, you'll still be able to use other documentation.
If you have a passport, travel with your passport.
A passport, a green card, or a military ID. Also, before you go get a Real ID, check online to make sure you have the documents you need. Dorian Irons found out the hard way. denied twice in 1 week.
You look like you're on the verge of tears.
I am, just a little bit.
And when you go, be ready to wait. When we visited the Supercenter, it took some people 2.5 hours.
I'm going to be here a very long time.
It just takes a little planning and a lot of patience. Adrienne Broaddus, NBC News, Chicago.
All right, here in New York, jury selection begins this morning in the federal criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors accuse the former music mogul of abusing, threatening, and coercing people into what they say were elaborate and produced sex performances that were known as freak-offs.
Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. If convicted, he could face life in prison.
For more, let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Ceballos, who joins us here on set. So the presiding judge hopes to have a jury in 3 days, given how well known Combs is. How realistic is that?
Well, all bets are off now that in the last 2 years, Donald Trump was tried here in Manhattan, just a few feet away from this courthouse. And Donald Trump is arguably the most famous or infamous person in human history. And they seated a jury in state court in a matter of 2 or 3 days. Judge Subramanian can probably seat a jury in this case in 3-4 days. I don't think any more than a week. It moves much faster in federal court than it does in state court. So you can expect a jury by the end of the week, for sure.
He settled a civil case. He had a civil case that he settled privately. He did not say that he'd done anything wrong, right? But Cassie Ventura was this woman's name. Any details of that case, can that be brought into this case as a showing of pattern of behavior? Does it have any kind of impact on what's going to happen in this particular case?
The Cassie Ventura civil case was the sine qua non. It was the genesis of this criminal case. And it's amazing to me because that case was filed and 24 hours later, Combs settled it under confidential terms. But who cares? Once you e-file a complaint, all those allegations are out in the ether. And more likely than not, federal investigators, federal authorities saw those allegations, and that was the reason for this investigation. So in a sense, Cassie Ventura's the allegations in her complaint are central to this case. We're going to see a lot of those same allegations. They found their way into the indictment, and we're going to see a lot of that evidence here in court, no matter what confidentiality agreement Combs signed. The time to sign the confidentiality agreement on that civil case was probably 24 hours earlier before Ventura filed the complaint.
So Cassie Ventura is expected to take the stand within the first few days of the trial. Would we expect to hear from any of the other alleged victims? How important is that going to be to both sides of this case?
Critical. Cassie Ventura is one of several victims, victim 1, 2, 3. All of them will testify. The real question is, how anonymously will they testify? Will they use a little curtain? Will they use some technique? Will they kick everybody out of the court except the litigants? But absolutely, in addition to Cassie Ventura, there will be others who will testify. I know it's only because I believe Cassie Ventura wanted to be identified or didn't mind being identified. Otherwise, she'd have a name like victim 1, victim 5, something like that. But the victims are key. The victims are key to the sex trafficking allegations. They're key to the Mann Act allegations, which is transportation across state lines for purposes of prostitution. They're key to everything. Yes, there will be other witnesses, but the victims will drive the case.
All right, 8 to 10 weeks, yeah? 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah, I'd say, we always budget over, so maybe closer to 7 to 8, but you never want to be the lawyer that budget's too short.
Right. Danny, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, at the Vatican, final preparations underway for the conclave to elect the next pope. The ancient, highly secretive process to choose a new leader of the Catholic Church is scheduled to start on Wednesday. NBC News correspondent Jay Gray is at the Vatican and joins us now with a closer look. Good morning, Jay.
Hey, good morning, Christine. And yeah, there is a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement building here in Rome about the selection process. Take a look behind me. It's been fueled by changes we've seen, including this morning when crews put up the large red drape over the doorway there, that balcony in front of St. Peter's Basilica, where the Pope will make his appearance for the first time after being elected, addressing the world. It's been just over a week since the funeral for Pope Francis. That time has really been filled with meetings, private discussions, and prayer. The 133 Catholic cardinals, a vast majority of those, by the way, 80% appointed by Francis, now will come together behind the locked doors of the Sistine Chapel on Wednesday to begin the process of electing a new pope. For the Catholic cardinals who've gathered in their holy city, the task they face is as difficult as it is important, choosing from among them the next leader of their faith.
We are praying for a new pope.
praying, preparing for the conclave, and talking, though not so much publicly.
It's okay.
The substance, saved for private discussions.
There's a lot of meetings, both formal meetings and what we call congregations, but there's also, even more important, the informal meetings over dinner, coffee, drinks, where they get a chance to get to know each other.
This will be the largest and most diverse conclave in the history of the Catholic Church and will be undoubtedly influenced by the man they're trying to replace.
I think there's a number of issues that the cardinals are looking at as they go into the conclave. First of all is the legacy of Pope Francis.
I'm sure the Pope will be as Franciscus, the same vision, the same dreams.
What is not sure is who that may be. He says that he's looking for the Spirit to give him an idea, as the world later this week looks for the white smoke. You know, this weekend, crews moved the small chimney to the top of the Sistine Chapel, and that smoke will really provide the first sign that there is a new leader of the Catholic Church. Christine, it's the world's largest Christian denomination with more than 1.4 billion members.
All right, Jay, thank you so much. We'll be watching.
We are looking at a soggy start to the week for much of the Northeast and the Southwest.
Meteorologist Michelle Grossman has your Monday forecast. Good soggy Monday morning, Michelle.
Good soggy Monday morning. Great to see you guys. Yeah, we are sort of stuck in that rain in the Northeast, also in portions of the South, because we have what's called an omega block. It's essentially a atmospheric roadblock where things are not moving. So typically the jet stream moves things along, storms move along, and they move out. And in this case, we're getting areas of low pressure that are cut off. So they're just sitting and spinning in the same spots and just bringing rain to portions of the Northeast and also into the Southwest. So as we go throughout today, we're going to watch that omega block continue. We're looking at that rain falling in portions of the Northeast, the New England area, mid-Atlantic as well. You can see that area of low pressure kind of spinning in the Ohio Valley, and that's what's happening. It's spinning in this moisture, and will continue to do so not only today, but also tomorrow into Wednesday. Now, as we look towards the rainfall, we're looking at a lot of rain in some spots, up to 4 inches in some spots, even 5. So we're looking at downpours throughout today, tomorrow into Wednesday, where you see those darker colors, the reds, the oranges, the yellows. That's where we're looking at the heaviest rain. So really through parts of New England into parts of the Northeast as well. We will see some thunderstorms too. So staying soggy today, we have that area of low pressure bringing in that rain. We're going to see a marginal risk. That's pretty low on the severe weather scale, but still could see some embedded thunderstorms, and that's going to bring the chance for some really large hail, some damaging winds, and some heavy downpours. Then as we go throughout tomorrow, notice that rain is still in place. Waves of heavy rain persisting in New England. That's going to lead to localized flooding once again. So we have a several-day event where we'll see the chance for this localized flooding. Wednesday, things finally start to move. So we'll see that low pressure kind of drifting off to the east, and rain, though, remaining for portions of New England, and some of it will be heavy at times. Otherwise, we're looking to the south. We're looking at the chance for severe storms in the southern plains. As far as severe weather goes, this will be a greater impact in terms of severe weather, because we're looking at a 3 out of 5 on the scale in parts of New Mexico and Texas, where we could see some large hail and even a few tornadoes along with those damaging winds. And notice the Southwest looking at that rain falling as well because of that area that is cut off from that low pressure system. So here we go with that severe weather threat. Where you see the orange, that is the greatest chance of seeing severe storms. Also in the yellow, some Lubbock, Abilene, San Angelo, Del Rio could see the chance of those strong storms. We're going to watch that, especially as we see that daytime heating going in the afternoon and evening hours. A whole lot of rain too as we go throughout the next couple of days. So not only today, when we see that area of low pressure starting to drift off to the east, we're going to pull moisture off the Gulf. So now we're talking Louisiana into Alabama, Mississippi could see some strong storms or some heavy rainfall, especially where you see that red there, and also portions of western Texas. This is the setup. Severe weather ramps up in west central Texas today. Widespread wind up to 40, 50, 60 miles per hour. Could see a 75-mile-per-hour wind gust as well. Then tomorrow we'll see that area of low pressure moving off to the east. We're going to see some strong storms in the southern plains, and we could see some spring snow still in the southern Rockies. Today we'll see it in the central Rockies. Back to you both.
All right, spring weather is here. Michelle, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, buy now, problems later. Some customers who've used a popular payment option say they're having issues with it. We'll take a look at why.
But up first, developing overnight, the Middle East on edge after Israel approves plans to capture all of Gaza. The latest next. Stay with us.
We are back now with urgent new developments in the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas in the Middle East.
Israel's security cabinet has approved plans to expand its military offensive in the Gaza Strip. That includes the unprecedented step of capturing all of Gaza. This is according to an Israeli official with knowledge of the matter.
NBC News international correspondent Matt Bradley joins us now from Tel Aviv with the very latest. Matt, good morning. So let's begin with this approved plan by Israel. A public broadcaster says tens of thousands of reserve soldiers have been called up for this operation. What can you tell us about these plans for the Gaza Strip? And just help us put all this in context.
Yeah, I mean, this plan to actually this sprawling sort of re-enlistment order among reservists, this was a couple of days ago, and now we just heard over the past couple of hours of this new plan approved by the Israeli cabinet overnight, and this was conveyed to us by an Israeli political source with knowledge of the matter, that would reoccupy the Gaza Strip. It would allow for more aid, or any aid at all, to come into the Gaza Strip for the first time in more than 2 months, and it would also posit a plan that we haven't actually heard any details of how to distribute that aid without it falling into the hands of Hamas. And this, again, was not part of the statement that NBC News got, but we're hoping that those details are going to come to light very soon. And also this plan would move the population, the civilian population, to the southern part of the Gaza Strip, supposedly, or as part of the statement said, for their own defense, for their own safety. So this looks like a paradigm shift in the way that Israel is conducting the fighting in the Gaza Strip now, 18 months into the war, and about 2 months, nearly 2 months since Israel resumed its fighting in the Gaza Strip following a 2-month-long ceasefire deal with Hamas. It looks as though all of the efforts to try to resolve the hostage crisis in the Gaza Strip and bring some modicum of peace to the Gaza Strip have now been frustrated after the past several attempts at negotiation. And now it looks as though the Israeli government is ready to ramp up their efforts, reoccupy the Gaza Strip, and launch a much more muscular military effort there.
Matt, ahead of the vote on the Israeli plan for the Gaza Strip, a missile launched by Iranian-backed rebels in Yemen briefly halted flights at the main international airport in Israel. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, this was a rare victory for the Houthis when it comes to their many launches of rockets and projectiles at Israel. And it was a rare mistake for the Israelis, whose very sophisticated missile defense system normally shoots down all of these projectiles, whether they be from Iran or from Yemen or from the Gaza Strip or from Lebanon in the north. This really was something that caused a lot of concern here in Israel about why this three-ply system that has swatted all of these projectiles out of the sky for so long wasn't able to protect Ben Gurion Airport from this projectile. Now, according to NBC News' information, 8 people were injured in this attack. It didn't really strike the airport itself, but as you mentioned, it was close enough that it shut down the airport for several hours, and a lot of flights are still being canceled. We're still hearing about canceled flights. El Al, the state airline of Israel, still seems like it's operating, and the Israelis have said they're launching into investigation into this failure, but it sounds as though this was a technical fault.
Matt, earlier we talked about the conclave starting in a couple days. Well, now we're learning one of Pope Francis's Pope-mobiles is going to be turned into a mobile health clinic for Gaza children. I mean, we know prior to his death last month, the Pope made phone calls every day to people impacted by the war. Just real quick, tell us, what are these plans for the Pope-mobile?
Well, we don't really know the details. I mean, we haven't actually seen, as I said, any actual aid into the Gaza Strip for the past 2 months. So whether or not the Pope-mobile in its holiness will be able to bypass that blockade of aid into the Gaza Strip, that's yet to be seen. As I said, there is a plan to get aid in, but this really is a poignant gesture by the late Pope. I mean, as you mentioned, the Gaza Strip and the plight of the Palestinians was very close to his heart. He maintained contact with Christians in Gaza on a daily basis, and this really was his last very emotional gesture.
All right, Matt Bradley. Matt, thank you.
All right, coming up, a different kind of launch for SpaceX.
Yeah, Elon Musk's rocket company is getting its very own city almost exclusively for employees. More on the vote to get the city of Starbase off the ground. Morning News Now will be right back.
Welcome back. SpaceX fans, buckle up. Starbase, the site famous for launching rockets, is now launching into city status. In a special election over the weekend, residents near SpaceX's headquarters voted 212 to 6 to incorporate the area into a new municipality. Only 143 votes were needed for the measure to pass. Starbase spans about 1.5 square miles near the Mexico border, and its residents consist mostly of SpaceX employees. Musk celebrated the win on X, posting, "Starbase Texas is now a real city." The new mayor and 2 commissioners, all SpaceX staff, ran unopposed. County officials will finalize the results in the coming weeks.
And staying with Elon Musk, the tech billionaire may have scored a big win in Texas, but it's a different story in Washington. After months of headlines, controversy, and budget cuts, Musk says he is stepping back from his role in the Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency. But as NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin explains, his exit may not put an end to the fallout over DOJ's dismantling of federal agencies.
Very much. Elon, I love the double hat, by the way.
Thank you. Well, Mr. President, you know, they say I wear a lot of hats.
Elon Musk, the world's richest man, has indeed worn many hats since joining the Trump administration in January.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
Literally taking a chainsaw to federal spending in his unofficial role as head of the Department of Government Efficiency, better known as DOJ.
Your tax dollars need to be spent wisely.
Musk announcing he's in the process of stepping back from his full-time role.
It's also an honor to work with your incredible cabinet. I'd just like to say thank you, everyone. It's great to work with you.
Musk admitting his plunge into politics has not been good for his brand or bottom line. Tesla profits plummeting 71%, his net worth dropping by 1/4. Tesla cars and dealerships firebombed.
Well, they do like to burn my cars, which is not great.
The one-time darling of the left,
he's a Renaissance man of the 21st century.
Now the subject of vitriol, protest in the streets, and lawsuits.
The latest fight centers around the president and DOJ's dismantling of federal agencies.
The Tesla chair even denying a report that they were looking to push Musk out for a new CEO. As head of DOJ, Musk claimed he could slash at least $1 trillion in government spending. But Musk admitted the savings were a fraction of that, $160 billion. And an analysis from the Associated Press showed nearly 40% of contracts canceled by DOJ are expected to provide no savings at all.
We feel confident that a 15% reduction can be done without affecting any of the critical government services.
So did Musk's promise to move fast and break things actually work?
It looks now like he bit off more than he could chew, but I also will leave the door open for lasting effects that we don't realize, both positive and negative.
Liza Dwoskin is a Silicon Valley correspondent for The Washington Post.
With Musk taking a step back but not going away entirely, should Americans expect that sledgehammer, or are we thinking more of a scalpel?
I think it's not going to be as dramatic going forward because of the high disapproval of some of these dramatic changes and some of the legal challenges that they're facing.
Musk's stint as a special government employee ends in May, and his time with DOJ will be reduced to just a day or two per week. But he promises a long-term future for the cost-cutting endeavor.
If we take our eye off the ball, the waste and fraud will come roaring back.
And Trump, though he once tried to rein Musk in, gave him a friendly send-off.
You're invited to stay as long as you want. At some point, I guess he wants to get back home to his cars.
As Musk, for now, takes a backseat in Washington.
And our thanks to Julie Sirkin for that report. Coming up, a crisis in California.
Homelessness reaching record highs as state and local leaders clash over solutions. Why advocates say the problem is far from over. You're watching Morning News Now.
We're back now with the latest reporting on the homelessness crisis plaguing the country. And no other state is feeling it more than California, where the number of unhoused people continues to soar. State and local governments are trying all sorts of strategies to tackle the issue, which begs the question, what is actually working? NBC News correspondent Dana Griffin went to the Bay Area to find out.
It's a crisis gripping the United States.
I live in the sanctuary homeless encampment up the road there.
I was unhoused for roughly three and a half years.
A hot button issue leading to ridicule, often dominating conservative talk TV.
Homelessness in the state is out of control.
With California as the poster boy.
It's going to take a lot more than a few months to get everything cleaned up in the state of California.
But also recognized by state leadership.
It's a disgrace, the homeless issue.
The Golden State has the largest unhoused population in the nation, with almost 200,000 of the country's more than 250,000 people who experienced homelessness on a single night in 2024, the highest ever recorded. Cities trying to tackle the problem with different approaches, trying to find the so far elusive combination of funding, humane treatment, and as one Southern California mayor put it,
the problem has to be solved with a get tough attitude and forcing people into some kind of meaningful treatment so they don't die on the side of the road.
Starting at the top, Governor Gavin Newsom last year issuing an executive order to clean up encampments, and seen here doing it himself.
We're done with the excuses.
Los Angeles voters approved a half-cent sales tax increase set to raise more than $1 billion, all as the troubled agency overseeing homeless services there got funding pulled, and a federal task force is investigating how billions of dollars has been spent. And so-called harm reduction methods, where drug paraphernalia is given to those on the streets trying to lower deadly overdoses, now getting rolled back in San Francisco.
The crisis on our streets is overwhelming, and it's unacceptable.
The new mayor there responding to residents' frustration, elected on a platform of cleaning up the city.
It's a nuisance, you know. It's a biohazard, if anything else.
But not everyone agrees.
I think along with a treatment plan and a housing plan, I just want to see maybe more empathy.
And that's what's happening in San Rafael, an affluent suburb outside San Francisco, taking a different approach of sheltering first.
It attracted a lot of strong feelings from residents.
Opened just a few months ago, this sanctioned encampment is gated with bathrooms and showers and 24/7 security. The goal is to help get residents into more permanent housing.
Is the sanctioned encampment working here?
Yeah. I mean, it's working. Obviously, there's a lot of room for improvement, like any new program.
And here, there's proof that a personal, compassionate approach can work too. Adrian Hall has been living on the streets for more than 2 decades and has been in and out of jail.
I was doing what I had to do to get it. Selling drugs, using drugs, taking stuff out of stores, sell it, snatch and grab.
During his most recent stint in prison, he met Charlotte Kramer, a Gen Z interfaith minister and street chaplain.
When we met, she said, I just want one thing out of you. And she said, just be honest. And I've been honest with her for the last 18 months. She really brought me out this rut.
Charlotte spends her days providing spiritual care to people who are unhoused or incarcerated. Her goal, to bear witness and build trust.
These are folks who do not trust the system. They've been pushed down, they've been judged by our society. I build a relationship with them that's healthy. And through doing that, I bring back a sense of humanity into their being.
Adrian says he's been clean for 2 years because of his relationship with Charlotte.
She just gave me hope to where I can just do better. And so far, so good.
Charlotte says she's helped more than 100 people who have experienced homelessness, like Alicia Owens, who was unhoused for 3.5 years.
It's just, she's showing me and teaching me how to have faith in people again, and to really believe in that support that is being offered.
Charlotte's approach, a contrast to the harder line the state is taking.
I would say that the most important thing in my work that I have learned is meeting someone where they are and respecting them at where they're at. It's a dangerous game to play when we tell people you have to live this way in order for this thing to happen.
Dana Griffin, NBC News.
What a powerful story. All right, let's get to some financial headlines this morning. A new bank rate survey shining a light on some costly issues with those popular buy now, pay later services.
CNBC's Bertha Coombs joins us with that and some other financial headlines. Bertha, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Joe and Christine. Happy Cinco de Mayo. And, if you're planning on celebrating with a margarita tonight, maybe think twice about shopping after that margarita. Seems like all of the folks who've been using buy now, pay later, well, nearly half of the users say that they've experienced at least one financial problem with those programs. A new bank rate survey finds that the worst common issues are overspending, missing a payment, regretting a purchase, and difficulties with returns and refunds. Now, the most common reason for people using these services is wanting to pay in installments. And they feel more responsible than using a credit card because they don't have to pay interest, but obviously can get out of hand. Meantime, China is pushing domestic companies to shift sales to the home market as tariffs threaten to choke off overseas demand. But economists say that creates the risk of deflation for that country that's already weighed down by weak consumption and too much inventory. Goldman Sachs expects China's retail inflation to fall to 0 versus growth last year, and wholesale prices to drop by more than 1.5%. Yet, despite mounting calls for more stimulus measures, many experts believe the government will wait for more signs of a weakening economy before taking action. Meantime, retailers are urging shoppers to take action and buy now before tariffs lead to higher prices or potential shortages. Some private brands, such as Bare Necessities, have held pre-tariff sales, playing up President Trump's trade war as a marketing strategy. Experts widely expect consumer spending to drop off when more tariffs go into effect, creating challenges for the retail industry as it's hard for them to plan far ahead when they don't know how tariffs will ultimately shake out. So it could be maybe you want to start shopping for the holidays now and stow those gifts away.
A marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Free tariff sales.
I feel like that's a smart idea. All right.
Bertha,
Thank you,
thanks.
Bertha.
A new professional league is shaking up the world of track, giving some of the world's fastest runners a chance to shine well beyond the Olympics. NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch takes a look at the Grand Slam track and why some big names are calling it a game changer.
With gold medal star power and big money on the line, this may be the running world racing into the future.
Why does running need this?
Because in track, as a sport, you have the fastest people in the world who don't have an opportunity to prove it, but every 4 years.
The proposed solution, Grand Slam track, a first-of-its-kind pro league for the sport. 4 meets in a single year, featuring over 30 Paris Olympic medalists. Grand Slam track, streaming on NBC Universal's Peacock, is the brainchild of Team USA Olympic legend Michael Johnson.
Now you have the opportunity in between those games to establish yourself and prove that I am one of the best in the world.
The new league allows athletes to win big money beyond an Olympic advertising blitz. Winners take home $100,000 on top of guaranteed contract pay, enticing for rising stars and household names like 5-time Olympic medalist Gabby Thomas.
What's the upside of doing something like this?
Well, the prize money. It's first of its kind in our sport. A lot of people don't realize this, but many of us work second jobs just to support our track careers.
Grand Slam track also pushes athletes beyond their comfort zone. American Masai Russell won Paris gold in the women's 100-meter hurdles. But to win a Grand Slam, she also needs to sprint 100 meters.
It's like we are dibbling and dabbling in our specialty event and an event that's not so much our specialty. So that's what makes it kind of cool.
Rising star Anna Hall's heptathlon specialty isn't even on the schedule, but she's here too.
And honestly, I just had FOMO, like fear of missing out.
Some stars like Noah Lyles and Sha'Carri Richardson have not signed on.
This is what's going to grow this sport. I think everybody will join at some point.
Perhaps making Grand Slam track the new must-see photo finish. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News, Miramar, Florida.
All right, coming up, heart to heart, a cardiologist is striking a chord with one of his patients through music.
How they formed a special connection without skipping a beat. Next on Morning News Now. They call it the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, and this year's Kentucky Derby down in Louisville was no exception. After a full day of high fashion and mint juleps at Churchill Downs, crowds roared during that final mud-soaked run for the roses. This year's Derby champion, Sovereignty, tearing past the finish line just ahead of Journalism, who was favored to win. Now, you might have also noticed that our NBC colleague, longtime anchor of our Kentucky Derby coverage, Mike Tirico, had to step away during Saturday's broadcast. He later shared in this post on Instagram that it was because of a bad reaction to his nut allergy. We are happy to report that he is back to the races this morning. Glad to see he is doing okay, and a scare was avoided there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we end this hour with a chord-striking connection. This patient-doctor duo is showing what it truly means to make music from the heart. NBC News Now anchor Hallie Jackson has their story.
Joel Schilling knows a thing or two about keeping a steady rhythm. Playing bass for his band at night and on the weekends. Living out his dream of being a rock hero.
Music has been a huge part of who I am and a big part of kind of how I blow off steam.
But during the day, he's a real-life hero, working on a different kind of beat as a cardiologist at Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis.
Hey, Rodney, how are you?
And that's where Dr. Schilling met Rodney Cochran, a veteran and athlete who needed a new heart.
I was in ICU for 8 weeks awaiting the heart transplant.
As the weeks wore on, while Rodney waited, the two discovered a connection.
I grew up in a rural area, so country music is kind of my background.
Music is a huge part of my conversations to kind of break ice with patients.
Their love of music.
Music had got brought up at one point, and so that made seeing him all that more enjoyable.
Did you think of him? You're like, oh, that's the music guy. That's the music doctor.
Oh, absolutely.
Having some common ground to talk about something that means a lot and can help you get through things and help you heal.
Last year, Rodney received his new heart with Dr. Schilling by his side throughout the recovery. They stopped talking about music together and instead prepared to perform it.
He would always say, hey, when are you going to play with us? He wouldn't let it go.
Dr. Schilling, why were you so insistent about Rodney playing with your band?
For me, there's nothing more rewarding than being able to see people getting back to their life.
So we have a drummer who's going to be joining us.
12 months and 1 week after his transplant, Rodney joined Dr. Schilling on stage at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis.
What was going through your mind in those moments?
It was a great way to celebrate. To turn around and see him behind the drum set when I'm playing my guitar was really something special.
For Rodney, this wasn't just a show, it was a victory lap.
How much was this performance a part of your own healing process and healing journey?
It was a big part of my 1-year anniversary. So I had wanted to, try not to get emotional here, I had wanted to do things to honor my transplant.
A doctor and patient showing the healing power of music, heart to heart, beat by beat.
It's pretty fun to watch. Rodney says he wants to encourage other people to be organ donors if they can. Back to you.
All right, medicine, music. Very cool. Hallie, thank you. That'll do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
The news continues right now. Good morning, everybody. I'm Christine Romans in for Savannah this morning.
And I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, constitutional questions. A wide-ranging and at times combative interview with President Trump, punctuated by a now viral moment. Speaking with Meet the Press, the commander-in-chief making this controversial comment when asked about the tensions between his mass deportations and the right to due process.
If you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials.
Given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me.
Much more from that extensive conversation with our Kristen Welker, including Mr. Trump's take on whether America's economy is heading toward a recession. Breaking overnight, at least 3 people are dead, at least 5 more wounded after a restaurant shooting in Glendale, Arizona. We've got the latest on that investigation in just a moment. Plus, remember all those student loan payments that were paused because of the pandemic? Well, they're set to start back up today. We're going to break down what might happen if you don't pay up and the new tools that could help some borrowers with their debt. And it's the biggest party of the summer for wrestling fans. The WWE SummerSlam now getting even bigger, hitting MetLife Stadium for 2 massive nights in August. So later in this hour, we're sitting down with former World Heavyweight Champion and native New Yorker Damian Priest on the homecoming of a lifetime. Your kids alone are going to be very excited about this.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm a hero
Maybe you'll
today.
be going to SummerSlam.
If I get an autograph today, I'm a hero. My work is done.
Let's begin with President Trump standing by his policies just over 100 days into a tumultuous second term. In an exclusive interview with Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker, the president defended his immigration crackdown despite mounting legal challenges.
When it came to the Constitution, he deferred questions to his lawyers about the Fifth Amendment right to due process for all people on American soil, including non-citizens facing deportation. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal, a member of the Judiciary Committee, reacted to what he called Trump's contempt for basic constitutional rights. He posted on X, quote, "A president who doubts his most fundamental duty, his sworn oath to the Constitution, is unfit for office." Our senior White House correspondent Garrett Hake joins us now with more.
The president spent much of his time in this interview defending his economic program and, when pressed, downplaying concerns over a possible recession. And even as polls show growing public disapproval of his handling of the economy, the president arguing that his tariff-fueled trade war will bring Americans prosperity, claiming credit for the good in the economy and blaming his predecessor for the bad. Overnight, President Trump says he'll make tariff decisions in the coming weeks.
I'll set my own deals.
After being asked by Kristen Welker on Meet the Press whether the economy is now his.
I think the good parts are the Trump economy and the bad parts are the Biden economy because he's done a terrible job. He did a terrible job.
With inflation declining, the president also rejecting concerns that his sweeping tariffs could drive prices of goods like toys back up.
You said some dolls are going to cost more. Isn't that an acknowledgement that some prices will go up?
I don't think a beautiful baby girl that's 11 years old needs to have 30 dolls. I think they can have 3 dolls or 4 dolls because what we were doing with China was just unbelievable.
Following Friday's strong jobs report, the president downplaying concerns about a possible economic downturn.
Is it okay in the short term to have a recession?
Look, yeah, everything's okay. What we are, I said, this is a transition period. I think we're going to do fantastically.
The president also defending his immigration crackdown and mass deportation efforts. Asked whether every person in the U.S. deserves due process, regardless of citizenship status, guaranteed by the Fifth Amendment.
We'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials.
But even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said.
In fact, the Supreme Court has ruled the Trump administration must allow basic due process rights for immigrants. Overnight, Trump saying again that he's been disappointed by many of the legal decisions on immigration and criticizing judges in a post in which he also said he would reopen and expand the famed Alcatraz prison to hold violent criminals.
Just an idea I've had, and it's a symbol of law and order.
Alcatraz, such a potent symbol, it's been a national park and museum now for decades. No details on any specific plan for that overhaul. The president also using the interview to confirm reporting that he's planning a massive military parade here in Washington this summer to honor the Army's 250th birthday, which happens to be the same June date as his birthday. NBC News reporting the plans call for 150 military vehicles and aircraft. The president dismissing cost concerns as, quote, peanuts compared to the value.
All right, Garrett, thank you. For more analysis, let's bring in NBC News senior national politics reporter John Allen. So, John, you've covered the Trump administration extensively. I'm sure you listened very closely to that interview. Did you detect any change in course and messaging on some of these issues, including some of the more unpopular policies, or was it sort of the same messaging you've been hearing for months and years?
Oh, absolutely a difference in the tone, Joe. Of course, the substance we'll have to see. But you did hear President Trump say in this interview pretty firmly that he's not going to seek to stay in the presidency beyond 2028. Felt like he was trying to assuage some of his critics there. There were a number of other places where it felt like, you know, his argument about tariffs being a long-term economic play rather than a short-term one, I think kind of fit in that basket too, trying to reassure critics or Americans are simply worried about the price spikes that many people are expecting to see as a result of these tariffs.
Yeah, interesting that he said that on the economy, the good parts are his, the bad parts are Joe Biden's. Can we expect to hear him continue that point, pointing the finger at the former president like this? And does the public really believe that?
Yeah, Christine, I'm not sure I've ever encountered anybody more than President Trump flips the coin and says, heads I win, tails you lose, which is literally what he was saying about Biden and the economy, right? If something good happened, it belongs to Trump. If something bad happened, it belonged to Biden. So we're going to continue to hear him say that. I don't believe that the public will judge anything bad that happens in the Trump years as Biden's fault and everything good as Trump's for credit.
Yeah, and the polling already suggests that very point, that the public's probably not going to buy that argument. They're going to say the buck stops with the person who's in office right now. Do you feel like the administration recognizes that, or is seeing the polling turn already just 100 days in?
Yeah, they can read. They can read polls. They'll look at certain polls rather than other ones. They'll claim that the polls that don't show good things for President Trump are wrong. The sort of heads I win, tails you lose again. But they know that his approval has slid since he came into office. And the thing, the question is, how much of that is he willing to burn in order to pursue an ideological view of how to resurrect the American economy by turning it back, to a more manufacturing economy, by trying to cut off trade, and how, basically how much pain are Americans willing to take?
Well, because
right now, I think President Trump is betting that it's a fair amount.
Because if he's not really going to run for a third term, as he suggested yesterday, then he can bear the bad polls. I mean, if he really thinks he's doing legacy-building stuff, remaking the American economy.
Yeah, I mean, he has that freedom. If he knows that he's going to leave in 2028, he could do whatever the heck he wants without fear of losing the public. That said, if he loses the public, he loses the midterms, and his presidency becomes more of a 2-year equation than a 4-year equation.
All right. John Allen, always good to have you with us.
See you.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
All right, turning now to Arizona, where 3 people are dead, several others are injured after police say multiple shooters opened fire at a restaurant in Glendale. NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz is following this story. Joins us now with the very latest. Liz, good morning. What happened?
Hi, Christine. Good morning. Yeah, what was meant to be a night of joy quickly turned into a tragedy. What we know right now is this happened around 7:45 last night at a neighborhood restaurant, which was hosting a Cinco de Mayo event open to all ages, including children. According to police, at least 3 people are now confirmed dead and others injured as authorities investigate what happened.
This morning, a Cinco de Mayo celebration turning deadly after multiple shooters opened fire Sunday night at a restaurant in Glendale, Arizona.
There was a lot of people here. A lot of people that were attending some sort of event.
Police arriving at a chaotic and devastating scene.
There are 3 dead people from this incident, and there's a total of 5 other victims having sustained some sort of injury from either shrapnel or gunshot wounds.
Before the gunfire, partygoers seen dancing at the event. A witness telling our NBC affiliate KPNX of Phoenix the restaurant El Camarón Gigante was holding a family-friendly Cinco de Mayo party with dozens of people of all ages present.
All of a sudden the shots started getting fired. It was way more than 20 shots. It went on for a good 15 seconds, 20 seconds.
Law enforcement working throughout the night to manage what they describe as an enormous scene. Authorities now asking those who attended the event and the public for help.
Anyone with any information, please come forward and provide that to us. We want to make sure we do a complete and thorough investigation and do right by the victims.
And while there haven't been any arrests yet, police are assuring the community that there is no ongoing threat. One officer says multiple people have been detained, but that they're still working to determine whether they're witnesses or potential suspects. Christine.
All right, Liz, thanks.
Jury selection in the federal sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs gets underway today here in Manhattan. Prosecutors allege he used his music and business empire to run a criminal enterprise. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas has been following this case closely and has the latest.
Hey guys, good morning. Combs is actually going to be in the courtroom as the jury is selected. His legal team hoping to be able to find an impartial jury, given the massive amount of media attention that this case has gotten ever since his former girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, filed that explosive civil lawsuit against him in 2023, accusing him of years of physical and sexual abuse over the course of their relationship. And now she is expected to be a star witness for the government in the case against him.
This morning, the highly anticipated criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs is getting underway. The music mogul himself expected to be inside a Manhattan courtroom as jury selection begins. It was nearly 8 months ago that Combs was first arrested by federal agents and charged with racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution that could lead up to life behind bars. Combs has repeatedly denied the accusations against him and just last week said in court that he had rejected a plea deal which would have seen him receive a lighter sentence. But New York prosecutors claim Combs abused women for decades, coercing them to participate in drug-fueled sex parties known as freak-offs. Many of those incidents recorded on video, according to the indictment.
The victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse.
His defense maintains everything was consensual, with Combs' attorney Tenny Garagos telling the Two Angry Men podcast,
"The public has gotten nearly every single fact wrong. However, that's what a trial is for."
The legendary rapper and hip-hop producer, now turned defendant, was first accused of physical and sexual abuse by his former girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura, in an explosive civil lawsuit 18 months ago. Combs denied all of Ventura's accusations at the time, and the two settled. But a criminal investigation was already taking shape. And then this hotel's security footage surfaced, first obtained by CNN, showing Combs punching and kicking Ventura in 2016.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
That apology has since been deleted from social media. Combs' legal team has tried to keep the assault video from being played to a jury, but the judge recently ruled that it can be shown. A source familiar with the case telling NBC News that Ventura is a star witness for the government and is expected to take the stand within the first few days. Now the process begins to select the jurors who will soon decide his fate.
So the case centers around 4 victims. We know that Cassie is one of them, but the government has not revealed the identities of the other 3. A few things I do want to point out. There will not be cameras in the courtroom. This trial is expected to last about 2 months, could go a little more. Combs, we're not sure if he's going to be testifying or not in his own defense, but we do know Cassie is going to take the stand. She's expected to in the first few days of this trial. Back to you.
All right, Chloe, thank you.
Some of the country's busiest airports are making headlines this morning. At Newark International, massive delays continue with both departing and arriving flights delayed 4 to 5 hours and more. Meanwhile, at Reagan Airport in Washington, the Army is under pressure to explain a close call incident between an Army helicopter and 2 passenger jets. It comes just months after a fatal midair crash at that same airport. NBC's Tom Costello is at Reagan National with the latest.
Yeah, good day. The FAA, the NTSB, and members of Congress all demanding answers from the military about what happened here at Reagan on Thursday with that Army chopper. In the meantime, the situation at Newark only getting worse with hundreds of delays and cancellations over the weekend. United now canceling nearly 3 dozen flights regularly out of that airport because of the growing problems and warnings it may only get worse and spread to other airports nationwide this summer.
The meltdown at one of the nation's busiest airports, Newark, continues this morning, with hundreds of flights delayed or canceled over the weekend.
Delayed by 2 hours, and then got here, and then they canceled it for the night.
The FAA blames runway construction, equipment failures with both radios and radars going down last week, and controllers walking off the job. The delays have spread nationwide. A critical hub for United, the airline has now canceled 35 daily round-trip flights. CEO Scott Kirby writing, "We feel like there's no other choice in order to protect our customers." The Transportation Secretary warning it could be a rough summer ahead nationwide.
And so what we're seeing here at the Philly TRACON, that actually can be what's going to happen across the country.
The issues at Newark come as air safety concerns in the nation's capital are once again in the spotlight after yet another incident at Reagan National, this time on Thursday when military helicopter Pat 23 appeared to deviate from its flight path.
Proceed westbound now. Go on, Pat 23. Proceed westbound now.
The Black Hawk with 2 pilots and a crew member was supposed to land at the Pentagon, very close to the river that passenger planes fly over before landing at Reagan. But when the Black Hawk deviated, the controller ordered 2 passenger jets to abort their landings and go around.
Delta 1671, climb maintain 3000, go around 3000.
Going around 3000, Delta 1671.
In a statement, the Army says the confusion came when a Pentagon controller ordered the chopper to go around, overflying the Pentagon helipad. But it comes just 3 months after another Army chopper slammed into an American Eagle passenger plane, also at Reagan National, killing 67 people. The FAA has since limited helicopter flights around the airport to just police, medevac, and national security missions. This morning, the Army, the FAA, and NTSB are all investigating.
Yeah, the FAA and the Department of Transportation insist air travel is safe. However, as we've reported for many, many years now, they are short more than 3,000 controllers nationwide. That is not a quick fix. They are not going to be able to quickly ramp up the hiring despite trying as best they can. They're barely keeping up with the retirement age, and they're dealing with decades-old technology in the tower. The DOT is expected to roll out a plan to upgrade air traffic control. They're going to do that this week. This is a years-long problem that they're going to have to invest billions of dollars in, and there will be no quick fix at Newark Airport. Back to you.
All right, Tom Costello, thank you.
This morning, the Vatican is making final preparations for the ancient ritual of selecting the next pope. The cardinals are meeting for one of the last times before gathering inside the Sistine Chapel for the conclave. NBC News correspondent Ann Thompson is at the Vatican, joins us now with the latest. Ann, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. It's down to the wire here at the Vatican. One of the big questions is, where are the cardinals going to stay? Because there is a new hotel and an old hotel. Well, we understand that lots were drawn to determine who's going to stay in the new hotel and the old hotel. Whichever hotel they're in, they're going to be shut off from the world so they can focus on one job and one job only, and that is to elect the next pope.
This morning, the cardinals are back at work discussing the state of the church. In the Sistine Chapel under Michelangelo's spectacular ceiling, the stoves are installed to burn the cardinals' ballots, while a temporary ramp provides access to the tables where they will write their votes. As the world watches, the cardinals facing reporters entering the Vatican today, asking about that controversial AI-generated image of President Trump as Pope.
What do you think about the picture of Donald Trump as Pope?
Unmentionable.
Trump posted it on Truth Social, and the official White House account reposted it on X. New York Cardinal Timothy Dolan, a member of the president's Religious Liberty Commission, said it gave a bad impression.
I hope he didn't have anything to do with that.
Are you offended by that?
Well, you know, it wasn't good.
This is Dolan's second conclave. It is the first for Newark's Cardinal Joseph Tobin, who celebrated Mass Sunday at his Roman church.
I think there's a growing consensus about the qualities of the next Holy Father. I don't think there's an agreement yet about names, so we'll see how long that takes.
Sunday evening, the cardinals gathered in St. Peter's Basilica for the Mass marking the end of 9 days of mourning for Pope Francis. The church's first Latin American pope appointed 80% of the men who will select his successor. A diverse group from around the globe who no one expects will choose a carbon copy of Pope Francis.
Now, we're told that all 133 cardinal electors are here in Rome and Vatican City, and that they are going to be able to start moving into those hotels perhaps as early as tomorrow morning. This evening, the Camerlengo, that's American Cardinal Kevin Farrell, he will swear an oath of secrecy to the 50 or so workers who will attend the cardinals during the conclave. If they break that oath, they are excommunicated from the church. Joe?
Such a fascinating process. Ann Thompson, thank you.
All right, let's get a check on your morning news now. Weather.
Meteorologist Michelle Grossman has it all for us. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning, guys. And it's going to be soggy for a lot of us today and also tomorrow, Wednesday. We have two areas of low pressure, one in the northeast, one in the southwest, that are sort of just hanging out, spinning in some moisture. And that will be the story over the next several days. So there's that heavy rain in parts of the northeast into New England. Could see 4, even 5 inches of rain in some spots. That could lead to localized flooding. Really good news for the drought, but it comes quickly. So we're going to watch that over the next couple of days. Could see a few embedded thunderstorms from the lower Great Lakes into the mid-Atlantic. That would be mainly the risk would be wind and also some large hail. To the southwest, we are looking at some rain in the Four Corners. We're looking at some snow in the Rockies. Could see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches of snow in some spots. And then looking at the chance for severe weather, this is a greater chance for severe weather in parts of New Mexico, Texas. We could see large hail, even a few tornadoes with any of those storms. Mild throughout the northern plains into the upper Midwest. We have an omega block, which is sort of where the jet stream slows down. It's a traffic jam in the atmosphere where we're seeing things stay stagnant. That's going to be the case over the next several days. Now, as we look towards Wednesday, that area of low pressure moves a little bit to the east. So now we're talking about the Gulf Coast. We'll see some really heavy rainfall, up to 5 inches in some spots. It's going to pull moisture off the Gulf. So where you're seeing those brighter colors, that's where we're looking at flood risk. And then rain lingers still on Wednesday in parts of New England into the northern parts of the Northeast. Sunny and warm in the Pacific Northwest and Northwest into the West Coast. And we're looking at some rain into the Central Plains on Wednesday. Looking towards Friday to wrap up this work week, we're looking at southeast showers, really stretching from the Carolinas into the Gulf Coast states, parts of Texas even, and also into Florida. Well above average in terms of temperatures in the northern plains, parts of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley looking really nice on Friday. And we're looking at fire risk in the Southwest. So talking about that blocking pattern, it's not just with the moisture too. We're looking at those temperatures stuck as well. So we're really cool where those area of low pressures are in the Southwest and the Northeast, but right in the middle, above normal for this time of year. Minneapolis today near 80 degrees. That is 11 degrees above what is typical for this time of year. Warm too in Rapid City. We're looking at temperatures only in the 60s and 70s in parts of the Four Corners. So Santa Fe just 62. That's 9 degrees below what is typical for this time of year. 72 in Tucson. And then we're going to be cool too in parts of the Ohio Valley and the Northeast where that secondary area of low pressure is. We're looking at Birmingham, 71 degrees. That's going to stay in place tomorrow as this blocking pattern stays in place as well. So Columbus just 64 tomorrow, only 60 in Albuquerque. Look again in Sioux Falls. We're looking at 81 degrees and Green Bay 71 degrees tomorrow. That's about 7 degrees above what is typical for this time of year. So where is that rain falling right now? Well, we're going to keep that rain in place in parts of New England, the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, also into the Southwest, the Four Corners region, and even looking at a few lightning strikes there as well. Additional rainfalls we go throughout the next several days. It was a soggy weekend for many of us in the Northeast, and we're going to keep it that way. We're looking at 4 to 5 inches, especially places like Boston, Hartford, Middletown, New York City. We're going to see a lot of rain as we go throughout today and also tomorrow. That severe weather threat focusing on portions of the southern plains. We do have an enhanced risk. That is 3 out of 5 on the scale, mainly in portions of southeastern New Mexico and Texas. And guys, we could see tornadoes and very large hail. Winds could gust up to 75 miles per hour as well. Back to you.
All right, Michelle, thank you so much.
All right, more to come on this Monday edition of Morning News Now. A little later, we'll dig into a new round of auto tariffs that went into effect over the weekend, how they might affect price tags, and an industry that is already reeling.
First, after the break, a foiled bomb plot shaking up millions of Lady Gaga fans in Brazil. What we know about the 2 suspects who are now in police custody. Those stories and more next. We are back with a foiled bomb plot at a Lady Gaga concert in Brazil, a show that organizers say drew 2.5 million people. Now, 2 suspects are under arrest, and police are revealing how close this came to catastrophe. NBC News correspondent Camila Bernal has the details.
Authorities in Brazil on high alert after a bomb threat at Lady Gaga's concert was averted. Police calling it Operation Fake Monster, saying this was a coordinated attempt at mass murder. 2 suspects, including the alleged ringleader, under arrest. Police saying this was a plan on digital platforms to commit a bomb attack with homemade explosive artifacts and Molotov cocktails, adding it mainly targeted the LGBTQ community. The goal, according to police, terror for fame on social media. But the plan foiled just in time, keeping the more than 2 million people that attended the free concert safe.
Gaga, we love you!
Lady Gaga spokesperson saying in part, prior to and during the show, there were no known safety concerns nor any communication from the police or authorities to Lady Gaga regarding any potential risks. And this, not the first time a major pop concert has been targeted. Taylor Swift avoiding tragedy and canceling her Eras tour shows in Vienna last year. Austrian police citing concerns of a terrorist attack. And in 2017, Ariana Grande's Manchester show ended in bloodshed after a bomb killed 22 fans. In Brazil, authorities say prevention paid off. Camila Bernal, NBC News.
All right, in the UK, it's a day of celebration. King Charles and the royal family will join in commemorating 80 years since Victory in Europe Day, which marks the end of World War II. NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez is at Buckingham Palace now with more on what's taking place today. Raf, good morning.
Christine, good morning. It's been a very busy day here at Buckingham Palace. You may be able to see the crowd behind me is just moving up to the palace gates. And at that review stand a little earlier, you had the King, the Queen, Prince William, Princess Kate, their children, and they were joined by veterans of the Second World War watching this massive military parade go by, commemorating the Allied victory back in 1945.
This morning, the King and Queen, joined by Prince William, Princess Kate, and other members of the royal family, marking VE Day, 80 years since the end of the Second World War in Europe. Commemorating the Allied victory over Nazi Germany with a military parade. More than 1,000 troops on foot and horseback marching past Buckingham Palace. In May 1945, these same streets were filled with celebrations. A 19-year-old Princess Elizabeth, the future queen, slipped out of the palace unrecognized to join the crowd.
I think it was one of the most memorable nights of my life.
William and Kate last week celebrating their 14th wedding anniversary on a Scottish island. The heir to the throne helping a shy young girl deliver a bouquet to his wife. But missing from today's event, Prince Harry, who on Friday lost a court battle to have his British security detail restored. Hours later revealing his ruptured relationship with his father, the King, who is 76 and battling cancer.
Life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff.
After the ruling, Meghan posting this picture of Harry and their children in California. Harry saying he fears their family would not be safe in Britain.
I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point. It's really quite sad that I won't be able to show, my children my homeland.
A royal rift, but hopes for resolution.
I would love reconciliation with my family. It would be nice to have that reconciliation part now. If they don't want that, that's entirely up to them.
And one of Harry's key claims is that King Charles could resolve this security issue, but is choosing not to. The palace's position is it would be totally unconstitutional for the unelected monarch to interfere in security matters. The palace spokesperson saying judges have reviewed this question time and time again, and each time they have found against Prince Harry. Christine.
All right, Raph, thank you.
Coming up, some big news for Americans with student loans this morning.
Yes, starting today, that pandemic pause of repayments is no more. So what might happen if you choose to simply not pay up? We'll explain next.
Welcome back. Today, the federal government will resume collections for defaulted student loans that were paused during the COVID-19 pandemic. Officials recommend borrowers contact the Education Department for repayment options. If people don't pay, they could see cuts to their paychecks. Reporter Linda Baccaro from NBC New York shows us some new tools that could help.
Americans owe a massive $1.6 trillion in student loans. And get this, only 38% of borrowers are actually paying and up to date on their loans. That 5-year break on defaulted loans is over. These UConn students are already worried about trying to make payments once their loans are due.
I'm looking for a lot of different scholarships, jobs, anything that will help me pay back my loans at the moment.
And starting Monday, the clock starts in the Treasury Offset Program, which could lead to wage garnishment notices by late summer. Corey Paris, a Democrat, represents Stamford in the Connecticut state legislature.
Even the reporting to credit bureaus, which will affect their credit score negatively up to 130 points, those are going to be major things that are going to further impact the economy.
There's now a new website dedicated to offering options for borrowers. It's studentaid.gov/end-default. Borrowers can enroll in an income-driven repayment plan, which, if you qualify, caps your monthly payments based on your income. There's also loan rehabilitation, and the department says, depending on your income, your monthly payment plan under a loan rehabilitation plan could be as low as $5. Connecticut offers its own program to help repay student loans.
If you live in the state and you've been here for 5 years, you're a working individual, you pay on your loans up to $5,000 and you complete 50 hours of community service, then we'll reimburse you up to the $5,000 of your loan, and we'll do it up to 4 years, which gives you $20,000 back in disposable income.
And our thanks to Linda Beccaro for that report. Officials say if you are in default, do not ignore the payment demands. Instead, look for federal, state, and local resources that spell out some of your options.
All right, a new round of auto tariffs is now in effect. The Trump administration placing a 25% tariff on imported auto parts.
It's a move that could sharply raise prices on new and used vehicles. So let's tap into Christine's expertise here and ask her more about it. So first of all, just spell out what is different today if you're buying a car as opposed to just a few days ago on Friday.
Well, these auto parts, look, the U.S.-made car is not 100% a U.S.-made car. There are 30,000 different parts in an assembled car in the United States, and a lot of those parts are foreign parts that will have a 25% tariff. So that means any car that is for sale after this day will have those prices on them, except for the pre-inventory that they have already in their lots. So the stuff in the lots that's before these new tariffs, that will have the price that it has there. In the weeks ahead, you'll start to see higher prices.
Are there any car brands that are protected from these tariffs at all?
Nobody is 100% insulated. I would say that Ford has the biggest domestic footprint here, with about 80% of its car made in the U.S., and it sells more cars than others in the U.S. But there are some foreign automakers, too, that are foreign automakers, but that they're here in the U.S. making cars. So, again, all of these cars have some foreign content that will now be taxed.
Are there any ways to get around the tariffs so you don't have to shell out more for a car?
So there are inventories right now that are on sale. So Ford, Dodge, Ram, oh, you can see it right there, Chrysler, Jeep, they have inventories right now that they're offering employee discounts. So there are deals to be had right now. You won't be able to get around it in the weeks and months ahead. And I can tell you that Bank of America Institute was noticing at the end of March, they saw a flurry of interest in financing. So you can see people were buying ahead starting in March and going all the way through April. People have been buying ahead of the tariffs. Excuse me, that's how they're trying to get around it.
Let's switch gears here, talk about tariffs, but now over the weekend we saw President Trump say there's going to be a 100% tariff on any movies that are made outside of the country, on foreign movies. We don't know a lot of details about this, but what could be the impacts of something like this?
It's interesting to me because it's like how he wanted tariffs on foreign cars. And there is not really a foreign car, it's an international, car. The same thing with movies. Like sometimes they're written, cast, right, and basically produced here. Some of it's shot in other places. It's unclear what this policy would mean and what the goal is of it, I think.
We have seen a lot of movie projects we know over the years move to Canada, move to other countries.
Absolutely.
So part of this is an attempt to do that, but it's also cheaper. That's part of the reason they moved to all those other countries. All right, Christine, thank you so much.
All right, coming up, speaking of movies, a box office bounce back?
Yeah, after a costly 1-2 punch of the pandemic and then those seemingly endless industry strikes, are audiences finally flocking back to movie theaters? We're going to dig into some new numbers next. We're back with an update on Warren Buffett's future at Berkshire Hathaway after announcing he's going to be stepping down as CEO.
CNBC's Bertha Coombs joins us now with more on that and other financial headlines. Good morning, Bertha.
Hey, Joe and Christine. Yeah, the end of an era for arguably one of the best investors of all time, Warren Buffett, announcing over the weekend that he is going to step down as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway at the end of this year. And he's asked the board to hand the reins over to Vice Chairman Greg Abel, who has been his heir apparent since 2021. But Buffett will stay on as chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, and he says, he'll help out as needed. He has led the company for 60 years, building it into a conglomerate with businesses ranging from Geico Insurance to Dairy Queen to See's Candy. But it's his keen insight for investing that has really helped Berkshire's Class A stock gain more than 5 million % over the last 6 decades. It was about $7 when he took over. It's this morning at about $787,000 a share. Meantime, the heads of NPR and PBS say they'll challenge President Trump's executive order to end public funding to the organizations. NPR CEO Catherine Maher telling Face the Nation they are looking at all available options, but would not say whether that means filing a lawsuit. The executives say funding cuts would immediately hurt local news stations, viewers, and listeners in rural areas, and the development of children's programming. PBS gets 15% of its funding from the federal government, but some stations get up to half of their budgets from public funds. Meantime, happy Cinco de Mayo. The holiday officially honors the anniversary of Mexico's victory over France at the Battle of Puebla in 1862. But mostly, it gives us an excuse to indulge in our favorite Mexican treats. And a number of restaurants and brands are serving up deals today. Chipotle is offering free delivery with the code DELIVER on its app and website, or free chips and queso with the code CINCO25. Chili's, meantime, has a $5 tequila trifecta margarita. I'm not quite sure what that is. Meantime, El Pollo Loco is offering 2 free chicken tacos with a purchase of at least $15. I don't know, triple margarita with triple
tequila margarita.
Really dangerous.
What could possibly go wrong?
Very dangerous.
And then, as Bertha said, don't go shopping after that. No online shopping after that.
Triple tequila margarita before 9 a.m. Eastern.
Thank you, Bertha.
All right, thank you. Staying with business news, Marvel's anti-hero film Thunderbolts pulled in an estimated $76 million during its domestic opening weekend. That's the 3rd highest debut this year.
Of 2025, yeah. Now that the summer blockbuster season is officially underway, a full slate of buzzworthy films are coming. Some analysts do wonder if the film industry may finally be making a comeback.
For more on this, let's bring in entertainment journalist and pop culture expert Brian Balthazar. Good morning. So great to see you this Monday morning. So, as we said, Thunderbolts, it's been doing well. Sinners, which came out 2 weeks ago, has also surpassed expectations. A Minecraft movie, okay, that's been a huge hit. I don't know how many times my kids have seen that. It seems like there are more wins compared to this year than last year. So is this because the movies are stronger, because the audience is more comfortable returning to theaters? Why, say you?
I think, hi there. I think it's a little bit of both. You know, we look at numbers trending up. So obviously people are willing to go back to the theaters. But I also think part of it is really that the slate is a little bit better. You know, we have some really great buzz around films like Sinners, which was kind of an unexpected hit, although people that had seen it before it was released were like, oh, this is one to watch. And then it's interesting that we're celebrating Thunderbolts because it did not break 100 million. So they really managed their expectations and decided to be thrilled with 76. I think that's great. They also had a ton of promotional tie-ins from brands like Wheaties and Tide, and a Super Bowl commercial. Spent about $100 million on the marketing of this film, which is not unusual for a film of this type. So the short answer, I should say, is I think it's a little bit of both. The one thing we should note, though, is that we're still not at pre-pandemic levels. We're still not what we were doing in 2019. So there's still room for concern right now.
And we'll have to see if summer changes that or not. And it's not just the filmmakers, the studios, the marketing, as you mentioned. The theaters themselves have been changing how we experience everything. Talk about that.
I think the mindset now for theaters is that if you're going to leave your house to go to see a movie, it better be an experience. They want people to feel like it's worth it. So they're having things like big events, interactive photo opportunities. They're raising the bar for their food. And interestingly, the technology of watching films has really amped up. 77% of moviegoers prefer IMAX, Real D, or 3D, some sort of amped up technology to better experience a movie, make it worth going to the theater, make it better than watching it at home.
Okay, so what does this summer have in store for us at theaters? It doesn't seem like there's a Barbenheimer-type master draw, but what are we going to see?
Right. No Barbenheimer just yet, but there's a long list of great things to watch. Since we see Jurassic Park, right, let's pull that up. We want some great pictures, right? Okay, Jurassic Park, Rebirth, The Fantastic Four, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, Superman, Wicked 2 will be back. The list goes on. And what's interesting, as you just spoke about earlier, is like, okay, maybe we're in for a great year, but the questions about tariffs still has Hollywood on edge. Just because these movies may do well, does it mean they will actually make money if they're paying tariffs on it? Of course, there are a lot of questions about that, but there are a lot of great choices for this summer and fall.
Jurassics. I'm trying to combine the names like Barbenheimer and not having any luck yet. That's not a good one, no, but we'll work on that.
I think it's going to stick.
All right.
I think it's going to stick.
There we go. It started here.
Barbenheimer is just too unique. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Brian. Well, coming up for many of us, summertime might mean taking some time to relax at the pool or the beach, maybe do a little traveling.
Hey, but for wrestling fans like yours truly, warmer temps. We need to see Christine doing an elbow drop right now. It can only mean one thing. It's soon going to be SummerSlam season. That's the WWE's biggest party of the summer, and it's even getting bigger this year. So after the break, we're going toe-to-toe with the one and only Damian Priest on his New York homecoming surely won't be one to miss. There's Damian. Stay with us. That's next.
Somebody get me a folding chair. I need a
Now.
folding chair, metal folding chair now. Boom. All eyes were on Iowa City yesterday, and Caitlin Clark gave fans exactly what they came for. The Indiana Fever rookie and former Iowa Hawkeye was back in familiar territory for a preseason showdown against the Brazilian national team. After sitting out Saturday's game with a leg injury, Clark returned to the floor, didn't miss a beat. She knocked down a 36-foot three-pointer from the same spot behind the 22 logo where she made NCAA history last year as an Iowa senior. Clark finished yesterday's match with 16 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. Just another day at the office for her, leading Indiana to a commanding 108-44 win over Brazil.
108-44.
I know, right? The Fever will end its preseason this Saturday against the Atlanta Dream before tipping off the regular season May 17th in a headline matchup against Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. It's just amazing. These women are so powerful.
Incredible. Love it. All right. Thanks, Christine. Finally this hour, some big news for WWE fans. For the first time ever, SummerSlam is going to be expanding to 2 nights. The showdown scheduled for this August, the 2nd and 3rd, at MetLife Stadium. It's a huge stage for one of WWE's top superstars, Damian Priest. He'll be in front of his hometown crowd at this year's SummerSlam, and we're excited to have Damian here himself in studio this morning. So help folks understand, because we just had WrestleMania. You were there. You went through, what, like 10 tables or something like that?
It felt like it.
You still are probably sore from it.
Big time.
How big of a deal is SummerSlam, and how big is it to extend it to 2 nights now, which is what WrestleMania's been doing for a few years?
For me, growing up as a fan, WrestleMania is obviously the #1, but SummerSlam has always been known as like the biggest party in wrestling of the summer. I mean, it's got all the pageantry that WrestleMania has, and now that it's going to become 2 nights is incredible, because now we could give the opportunity to way more fans to come enjoy this celebration of the summer with wrestling with us. So we're excited, because while it's 2 days, it's going to be like a week-long affair of just having fun and meeting fans, interacting in the area, and being that it's in the Northeast, for me, it's pretty sweet.
You are a New York boy. You are a huge Yankees fan. So what does that mean for you to come back for something especially this big?
To do MetLife, in this area, for me, SummerSlam, which I grew up watching, it means a lot, because I feel like these are those wins in your dream that you didn't realize you were having. So to me, it's very important, and I feel like another goal accomplished or another dream achieved. Being able to perform in front of that many people from my area, it humbles me, man.
When you pack a football stadium with fans, it is something extra beyond even Madison Square Garden or something like that. Okay, we have to talk about Bad Bunny, right? All right, so for those who don't know, Bad Bunny has wrestled in a couple matches, including, this is what Damian did to Bad Bunny right there. You did that to him. You guys teamed up for his first big match, and then you were against each other for this match a couple years ago. Were you worried that you were going to break beloved Bad Bunny and the world would be mad at you? What was this experience like for you?
Oh, I was a little nervous. I was like, it's just, please don't destroy this man. At least not too bad. I wanted to leave him well enough that he could continue performing in his industry.
Yeah.
But no, this was, what a night. One of the coolest things I've ever done in my life, let alone my career. Getting to perform with somebody who's, globally known, and to his level is wild. And getting the trust from the company to work with him, and him trusting me as well, and what we did culturally in Puerto Rico, it just meant the world.
That match was in Puerto Rico. Of course, Bad Bunny's Puerto Rican, you're Puerto Rican. It was an incredible homecoming. What was that like? What was the feeling you had during that match? Because it must have been unlike anything you've experienced before.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of those that, win or lose, this was one of the most important matches of my career. Just what we established there, getting to do this event in Puerto Rico, which we haven't returned to Puerto Rico for a live televised event in I don't know how many years. So to be able to do that and set the tone for now, we do so many events, all over the world, and I thought that crowd in Puerto Rico, #1, was outstanding. And I think they set the table for us traveling the world and being able to perform in front of different cultures now.
A lot of times when a celebrity steps into the ring, when it happens, you got to take it easy. The moves are kind of simple. That was not the case here. He was doing everything, wasn't he?
Yeah, and that was a conversation I had with him. I was like, we're in PR. It's a street fight. I was like, you're gonna feel a lot of pain, man. But
and what did he say?
He was game for it, you know, because he's a lifelong fan as well,
Yeah.
and he's always treated our business with the utmost respect. So he trained and he worked hard, and he knew what was coming. It was still worse than I think he thought, but he was ready to feel, you know, he knew he was going to be in pain for quite a few days.
Is he still talking to you?
Yeah, he does. You know, not as often.
Yeah. He's a busy guy. So when we talk about that match, I think is a great example of the Latino representation, the growth, not just in the ring, but in the stands. And I'm guessing you were a young fan. What's changed from what you saw in the ring and in the fan stands between when you were growing up and what you see now when it comes to Latino representation in WWE?
It's way different. So when I was growing up, obviously the world was different. And when it came to Latino Hispanic wrestlers, it was very stereotypical how they would react and how they would dress. And I think now you get to see everybody as individuals just being themselves, and however they choose to represent their culture. But it's all about real acting as far as being yourself. And it's kind of cool that nowadays we're accepted all across the board, you know, not just Latinos, just every culture is accepted now. And you don't have to be fearful of how you can represent yourself and your community. Everything's accepted, and I love it. And I love the fact of where we are today, where we have so many Latinos in the company. Because wrestling to Latinos is almost like culture, like a religion. It's very important. So being able that we can represent and inspire, it means the world to us.
You got a few seconds left here. Who do you want to face at SummerSlam?
Ooh, I mean, any champion.
Okay.
You know, you always want a championship.
You want the title back?
Yeah, I want a title.
Right. Damian Priest, good to have you with us. Thank you so much. And again, SummerSlam August 2nd and 3rd here at MetLife. That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
That's right. The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.